Mm. Okay, hello everyone. Hello, good evening. How are you all? Good evening, everyone. So, I welcome you all to today's session. So, today is the first demo class of the upcoming batch, that is Crash plus Crackers batch. And this batch will going to be started on 3rd of September, that is Tuesday. Now, this batch is the Crash plus Crackers batch. We will be discussing the details of this batch in the end of this video. Okay, so let us discuss the very first chapter of IEIFS, that is an overview of Indian economy. Now, Indian economy, what is the characteristics of Indian economy, how Indian economy is defined, and what are the characteristics according to the periods of the Indian economy? This we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay, so let's start with discussing with the very first and the most important thing of the class. See, this is very important. Why? Because often related questions can be asked in the exam. Now, if we talk about the evolution of the Indian economy, according to the Agnes Medicine database, India and China contributes approximately 50.5% of the global GDP in 1080. So, if we talk about in the 1080, jointly India and China, they both together were responsible for the 50.5% GDP of whole or complete world. But this number, of course, starts declining after 1680. So initially in 1080, it was jointly 50.5%. India and China, they both together contribute in the Indian economy. But if we talk about 1680, and by the end of 1680, India and China, this percentage actually rise to 52%, and being China contributing 29% in the whole world's GDP, and India contributing 23% in the world GDP. This is a very huge number. If we talk about the whole GDP, if approximately 52% is contributed by only these two countries, then obviously the contribution of India and China was very impressive in the 1680. But obviously, this started declining. There was various circumstances which were responsible, and especially if we talk about the India, when British comes to India, and when the British just wastefully utilized the resources and only created India as a hub of the raw material, then what, this share, it starts declining. And when we talk about by the end, when Britishers left India, India's contribution in the world GDP was approximately 3 or 4% at that time when Britishers left in India. Means for 23%, it was only 3%. Why? Because there was not a better utilization of the resources, over exploitation of the resources that was done by the Britishers in India. Okay, next, if we talk about the International Monetary Fund report, currently 2021 latest data, the contribution of the global GDP of India is 7.3% approximately. In terms of purchasing power parity, India ranked third in the world after China and USA. Now, what is purchasing power parity? If we talk about the purchasing power purchasing parity is actually comparing prices of same basket of goods in different countries. It means that if you want to live inexpensively, okay, so you can compare the purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity allows you to compare the prices of the same basket of good which is purchased in two different countries. For example, McD has a burger, for example, Zinger burger. Now, chicken Zinger burger, if cost in India rupees 100, and the same cost expensive in USA, it's the same cost. It means that obviously the inflation rate in USA is comparatively higher than India. So purchasing power parity is simply allows you to buy the same basket of goods and services in country. For example, you are carrying 100 rupees. If the Zinger burger cost in India 100 rupees as well as in USA also 100 rupees, means whatever the dollar is equivalent to rupees 100. So this means that you can live inexpensively in USA also, means the same amount of income you need to live in USA also. This is known as the purchasing power parity. So a very good number is India in terms of purchasing power parity, ranked third in the world. Okay, first, if we talk about the first rank, the first rank can be USA, it can be China. And second rank is also between the same USA and China. Either USA is in the front or China is in the second, or China is in the first position, USA in the second position. And now the third rank is India. India ranked third in terms of purchasing power parity. So the very important thing is Agnes Medicine database. In 1080, India and China jointly contribute approximately 50% of the world GDP. This number has rose in 1600 AD, where India and China together contribute 52% approximately of the whole globe GDP. Okay. Now, if we talk about the purchasing power parity, the purchasing power parity in terms of purchasing power parity, India ranked in the first position, USA and China. USA ranked in the first position, China in the second, and third, India. Okay, and first and second is between USA and China. Clear? Now, next, if we talk about the very basic characteristic of Indian economy, what are the basic characteristic of the Indian economy? Now, there are different basic characteristic which defines Indian economy. If we talk about the World Bank classification, so the World Bank actually classifies the whole economies into four categories. There is a low income, there is lower middle income category, there is upper middle income, and there is higher income. So there is low category, there is high category, and now in middle there are two options. Okay, lower middle and per middle. Okay, so these are the classification of the GDP according to the World Bank. All the economies can lie in these four categories. If we talk about the India, so India lies in the lower middle category, means this category. India is in the lower middle category group. Okay, purchasing power parity, India ranked third, but in terms of purchasing power index, India ranked very. The low per capita income, what are the characteristic of the low per capita income? Because you all know that India is a low per capita income economy. Okay, so low per capita income economy is actually contributed by what is the characteristics of the low per capita income economy. So low per capita income economy is actually attributed by high level of poverty. You can see there's a high level of poverty in the low per capita income economy. Second, there is unemployment. Okay, and third, there are illiteracy rate. Clear? So these are the basic characteristic of the Indian economy. Clear, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, so if we talk about the basic characteristic, it is very simple. Okay, done. Any doubts? I hope that there is no doubt in this. This is very important. Okay, the low per capita income, it is attributed by, first of all, high level of poverty. There is high level of poverty. Second, there is unemployment. Okay, and third, there is high level of illiteracy. Clear, everyone? Yes or no? Everyone? Okay, next, if we talk about the basic characteristic and if we talk about the summary of the Indian economy, first of all, the low per capita income, we have low per capita real income, we have rapid population growth, we have high rate of unemployment, underemployment, and disguised unemployment. Unemployment, you all know, underemployment means people are getting less than what they deserve. For example, a software engineer is doing a job of HR. Why? Because there is no opportunities in the economy. So he is underemployed. Underemployed means getting less than what you deserve. The profile is less than what you deserve. Okay. Next, if we talk about the disguised unemployment because there is a lot of population in India. So disguised unemployment refers to overemployment. It means that, for example, in an area there is a need of only 4%, but because the population is very high and a family has 6 members, and the 6 members are actually engaged in this small piece of land, the work done by 4 workers is equivalent to the work done by 6 workers. Means the marginal productivity of the two extra labor is actually zero in this case. So the 2% which are over or extra employed in this field are termed to be as disguised unemployment. This is a very common problem in India, especially in agriculture sector. In agriculture sector, India oftenly sees the disguised unemployment thing. Okay. So we have low per capita income, we have rapid population growth, we have high rate of unemployment, underemployment, uh, disguised unemployment. We have excessive dependency on the primary sector. You must know that India is primarily engaged in agriculture and allied sector. So we are excessively dependent on the primary sector. We have a vicious cycle of poverty, a never ending cycle of the poverty. And next we have the rising unemployment thing. So these are the different characteristics which we termed in Indian economy. Clear? Done. So there is low per capita income, rapid production, high rate of unemployment, excessive reliance, vicious cycle, rising unemployment, etc. Clear? Done. Okay. Just a second. Just a second, guys. Okay. Done. Okay, next, if we talk about the Indian economy in British period. Now, what is the characteristic or what is the Indian economy in the British period time? Okay, so if we talk about the British period, so British has actually hampered the Indian economy by the overutilization of the resources or by the excess utilization of the resources. When we talk about the colonial period of Indian economy, there is a unilateral trade of capital and raw materials to Britain. So actually, Britishers does what? Britishers just make India as the hub of raw material. They supply the raw material from here and transfer it to Britain. They just utilize all the what yeah, they utilize all the uh, raw material and capital, and they just transfer it to Britain. Now you all know that GDP, gross domestic product, while calculating the gross domestic product, we have to look that we have to just involve complete production of goods and services. So GDP is actually what is the value of the final goods and services produced. When there was a final goods and services, so raw material actually is not included in the gross domestic product calculation, and that what Britishers does, because Britishers just transfer the raw material from India to Britain, making Britain the hub of the finished product and India the hub of the raw material. And that's why the GDP contribution of Britain rose at that time in the global GDP. Why? Because the final production of goods and services was taking place there. But India, it was a hub of raw material, and raw material valuation is actually not included in the GDP calculation. So this was one of the most important thing, due to which there was a very negative impact on the contribution of the globe GDP. It is followed by the neglected social sector. So obviously, Britishers does not have a positive approach toward the social sector, the hospitals and the education sector for especially India. It was not fully utilized or furnished at that time. It has a negative impact on the economy's production. Furthermore, British rule India remain a low quality labor market for them. And these all actually contribute to the downfall of the contribution or to the downfall of the Britishers. Next, if we talk about the Dadabhai Naoroji, Dadabhai Naoroji was the first person who calculated the first national income in India. This was very important thing, remember, because this can be asked in your examination. So Dadabhai Naoroji was the first person who calculated the national income in India, and he wrote the book, and the book was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. And in this book, Dadabhai Naoroji described the poor condition of India during the Britishers' time. According to him, British India's national income was 340 crore, and per nest capita income was only rupees 20 per annum at current price. So at that time, in this book, Poverty and British Rule in India, Databhai Naoroji described the poor condition of Indian economy, saying that India's total GDP was 340 crores in British India. If we talk about the per capita income, if we talk about the Indians per capita income, it was only 20 rupees at the current price. Means on an average, an Indian was earning at that time only rupees 20, which was actually updated or upgraded at the current price. And this was the very poor condition that was being described in that book. Okay, so very important two thing: Dadabhai Naoroji, the book British Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Second, the first estimate of the national income. So who calculated the first national income in India? Dadabhai Naoroji calculated the first national income in India. Okay, done. Okay, next, if we talk about the Indian economy and British period. So, as per the Agnes medicine model, you must know that I have already explained that in 1680, the contribution of India was very good at that time. India was contributed approximately 23%. But by the time Britishers left in India because of the overutilization, neglected social sectors, and the negative impact on the Indian economy, this global GDP only shrunk to only 3%. Similarly, India accounted for 33% of the global trade in 1680, but it actually fell to only 3% in 1947. So there was degrowth of the contribution in the GDP as well as the trading in both the time period. Okay, so if we talk about the British colonial period. So British colonial period defined between 858 to 1947. Now British contribution, if we talk about this time period, this time period has been described by certain words. First of all, there was exploitative British policies and resources depletion. Obviously, this lead to the degrowth of Indian economy. There was introduction. The important and the good thing that the Britishers has done to India was introduction of railway and telecommunication, the famines and poverty due to the poor governance, introduction of zamindari system. So these were the thing which has been introduced in the British colonial period, and these were the, first of all, if we talk about the zamindari system, if we talk about the exploitative nature of the Britishers' utilization of the resources, this all leads to which the circumstances was the contribution has fell to from 23% to only 3%. So this picture, if you see this picture best describe what was the condition at that time. See, if we talk about the Indian economy development, it was not in priority for the Britishers. But when we talk about the economic interest of Britain, it was the top priority. The main purpose of Britishers at that time in India was to make India simply a hub of raw material. And all the cheap labors and raw materials is transferred to Britain. And now Britain become the hub of the finished product. All the economic interest rest with the Britain. And this, due to this, there was a very negative impact on the Indian economy at that. Clear? Done? Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask everyone. Any doubt? No doubt. Okay, next. If we talk about the evolution of Indian economy, now what are the evolution of the Indian economy? Now this I will detail in the class, in the crash plus crackers batch. So there is a new batch, that is crash plus crackers batch, that is going to start on 3rd of September, and in which we are going to have a detailed of each and every point, that what was the characteristic of ancient period. Then Mughal era come. What was the condition at the Mughal era, British colonial period, and then the overview of before and after. Okay, so there was a major financial crisis in year 2008. So what was the before and after effect of the major financial crisis? This we are going to discuss in very detail in the paid classes. Okay, so now let me tell you about the paid classes which is going to start from 3rd of September. It is JAIIB Super Elite one all-in-one subscription plan. So all the batches which are going to start for your October exam cycle will be included in the JAB one in all in one super elite subscription batch. So this is the new batch which I am talking about, that crash plus crackers pack, in which there is two things. In the first 20 to 25 days, we are going to discuss about the summary of each and every chapter. So this is the summary. Okay, for each and every chapter, we are going to discuss the summary. And later, if we talk about the rest, or if we talk about the in the later classes, we are going to discuss the multiple choice question sets for your exam preparation. And this crash plus crackers batch will be ending just before your exam, so that you have the revision also, you have the summary also, as well as you have the question practice also in this batch. So these are all the batches which you are getting if you are going to buy the JAB Super Elite all-in-one plan, which included the subscription of each and every courses. You need not to buy every courses individually. Second, you will get all the tests with complete AI analysis. You will get the special sessions, you will get the case study. Everything is included in this JAB Super Elite subscription. So currently there is 47% off that is going on the JAB subscription. So if you can apply, if you apply this code exam, you will get a 47% off on this JAB and CAB subscription. So the original amount of the JAB subscription is 7499, and the validity is for 12 months. This is for 24 months, and original amount is 13,000. Now you will get here 46% off. In this amount, there will be 46 to 48% off if you apply the code exam. So approximately half, you can say approximately half the price you are getting the subscription in only 3,000 to 3,500. Okay, for 1 year, and for 2 year you will be getting in 6,000. Okay, so this is the best package you can buy. Okay, so thank you so much for joining this session. I hope that you have all enjoyed this session. Please keep on liking and sharing the video. And if you haven't subscribed the channel yet, guys, please subscribe the channel and press the bell notification icon. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care, everyone. Bye, guys. Take care.